Peace, brothers and sisters who have arrived here on this channel. And yet another moment has passed. We just finished going through Passover and Resurrection Day, and we are still here once again. But that does not mean that we are over all the prophecies, because something did happen on the 8th of May that is very important. And because people are in the wrong calendar, they missed such an important event that made this prophetic triple alliance going on as if three kings are standing on the same castle. In order for you to watch until the end, for you to see what we have to present here on this video, because it's amazing and it's keep leading us towards the end. But if you don't know who I am, my name is Ricardo Garcia. I'm a Brazilian guy who teaches about the end times for over 7 years. I lost the channel already because I spoke too much truth. And I have been watching the signs of Christ coming for over 7 years, right? And doing English videos for over 2.5 years, about 3 years already, explaining a lot of things that most channels does not. So it's very important for you to watch the English video playlist for you to see each and every step how we arrived where we are right now. So the previous video with 10K views, that's very important for you to watch. I hope that if you're watching this video, you already saw that video, and we're expecting, as we were, the rapture of the church before the appearance of the new false prophet. But we're still here, and I'm going to update you to where we are right now based on the information that we got from the reality that we experienced, right? But I have many other important videos for you to watch, for you not to be ignorant about the paganism in the world that teaches false Christianity, for you to see all the objectives of the nations, for you to don't be caught into wrong and false internet prophecies, things that have been happening for the past year that is very important for you to understand how we arrived here with so many celestial signs, the ultimate timeline, such an important piece of historical data for you to see and see the importance of 2025 and why we're expecting Christ coming for the church and the rapture of the church to be happening this year. We have many, many things for you to watch here. Take your time, watch it, because we still have a little bit of time. Take it and watch the videos you haven't, because the information here is very precious. All right? I do it with Christ mind. I do it for him, not for the world, not to be rich, not to earn any money whatsoever here. My channel is not monetized. I do this for the love of Christ, because I know he's coming back, and that's our true treasure. All right? So let's do this, and let's keep on going to the video that I started, the triple prophetic alliance. So what do we have here in this amazing picture that was drawn for me here? We have the Trump Pope, the image that himself posted on social media about becoming the new Pope, and the North American eagle, the symbol of North America behind him. Then we have Elon Musk with the needle to the brain here, and he's wearing the devil's champion costume here that he once used already. And now we have the Pope, right? The Leon the First, the 14th, right? Leon 14, the new Pope that just appeared in the scene. But you can see here that this lion here, he has some weird tail and feet here, right? Because he's portraying something, right? So let's go to the Trump character first. The political and economical power. He's very important for this world because he is allied to Israel. So the United States, through Trump's administration, is an ally to Israel. And Israel in 2017, when they fulfilled 70 years of independence, creation and independence, they proclaimed Trump as being just like Cyrus, a king the a Gentile king that helped Israel. So it's very important figure of power for Israel, for the fig tree, and he is promoting, if you have been seeing lately, he's promoting some form of peace everywhere, peace in the Middle East, peace with the Arabs, peace with Israel, and he's promoting peace. We know that this coming Antichrist kingdom will come and conquer through peace. So he's a very important player playing right now before our eyes this peace card, and he posted himself as a pope, a symbol of a peace man, right? Doing things to achieve peace with Israel because that's very important for them to build the third temple. And he's also an economic power because he placed tariffs, and these tariffs shook the entire world. So markets all over the world were going down because he just started his tariffs on the whole world. And many countries, over 100 countries, rushed to make a deal with the United States. So he is a figure of economical power. He dictates what happens in markets all over the world, and he is bringing peace through political power. So, a very important figure going on in the world right now, the first king. Now we have also the technological king, the guy behind the technology of the world, because he is the richest man in the world, and I purposefully chose this image of him because he chose to be on Halloween the devil's champion wearing his this armor, which is very interesting because in my dreams over 3 times already I saw him as the Antichrist. I'm not claiming he is, but I'm just telling you that I saw in my dreams him being the Antichrist. I don't know why. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but that's what I saw. I'm just reporting. So he's a technological guy, very important, the richest man alive, and he has a satellite grid called Starlink, or as the Terminator movies call Skynet, right? The internet placed in the skies. Even if power goes down in on Earth, his satellites will still have power and will still provide internet for him and his friends. So he has this satellite grid. He is able to provide internet to the most remote places of the world. He's able to sustain this link, right? This area of technology that nobody else's can. And this is very important, especially for the end times, because we know the Antichrist will have this power to be everywhere in the world through technology, and he will enforce many things through technology. That's why this is very important for the Antichrist and this fallen world, right? And he is also bringing something very interesting, which is the brain chip, which access technology to human mind. Just recently, he claimed that in a near future, people will be able to experience their memories, false or true memories, or even fictional fantasies in their own brain through this chip access uh, of the biological brain. So he's literally bringing this mark of the beast technology to the world, where he will be able to control it all over the world with his satellite grid, and he will be able to control the minds of people with his technology. So this clearly, very clearly, is the technology of the beast. Because once they are inside your brain, then you can't expect to accept whatever they want you to accept, to believe whatever they want you to believe, and to not believe whatever they don't want you to believe, because they will be able to mess with your mind, to choose whether you remember something or not. At that point, it's over for you. If you choose to deliver your mind to this system, to technology, at that point, it's over for you. You will be way too out of reach for believing in Christ and dying for Him in the tribulation. So, no wonder this is happening here. This technological guy, another king in the US, also is bringing this beast system alive as we speak right now. And the whole AI we are seeing everywhere. Actually, right now we have a small gap in the history of mankind where AI is still helping us in some ways, but very, very shortly AI will take control of the banking system, will take control of the internet, and the AI will be the image of the beast who will be able to be alive, let's put it that way, and give commands and control people and produce false images to control people and kill financially somebody or uh, persecute somebody by false accusations based on false videos that are made by AI. So very, very soon, and it won't take long, I believe by the end of 2026 or 2027, we humans will not be able to discern what is real and what is made by AI. So very, very soon, AI will take over the world and it will use all the technology that it has in order to control it, to stay alive, the Skynet of the Terminator also, and the brain chip that will try to invade people's mind and control the biological human. So this is happening under our noses, and that's why we also know that the end is coming very soon. And now we do have the religious leader that people were worshiping there in the Vatican. People were staying awake, waiting in great expectation to see what what man would be chosen to be the leader of the Catholic Church that placed a lot of paganism into the world until today, and many religious people still follow some or part of what they say that is not true, that is still paganism. And he was chosen precisely on the 10th of Nisan, May the 8th, 2025. If you are following the calendar for the Jews, or if you're following the Gregorian calendar, you missed this. For you, he might have entered or been chosen on the 10th of Iyar, according to the Jews, right? Or according to many watchmen that are following the Jewish calendar, but not the correct solar sky clock, right? The position of the sun, moon, and stars that I teach on this channel very often. And if you don't know this, go seek this out because it is very easy for you to see and understand. But he was truly chosen on the 10th of Nisan. On the 10th of Nisan, it is when on Passover you choose a lamb, the lamb that it will be sacrificed on the 14th of Nisan to be the Passover lamb. So right on the 10th of Nisan, when you choose a lamb, he was chosen. And on the 10th of Nisan, that Joshua and Caleb also entered the promised land with the sons of the Israelites of the desert. So we were expecting on the 8th of May a rapture scenario for us, the church, to be taken to the promised land, while this false lamb would be chosen. And we were right about the false lamb being chosen, the false prophet, right? But we were not taken to the promised land yet. But it is very interesting that this did indeed happen perfectly on the 10th of Nisan. And he chose a name called Leon or Lion the 14th, Leo the 14th. And I went to research about his legacy or the legacy of the Leon name. So I went to search about Leo the first, the legacy of that Leon 14th is taking, right? And I found some very interesting things that you probably haven't seen anywhere else. So let's go to Wikipedia here and read a little bit about Pope Leo the First. So Pope Leo the First, also called the Great, Leo the Great, right? He was known for meeting the dictator Attila the Hun. He was also known for, let's read papacy here. He was known as a person that centralized power in Rome. So take a look here. where we read here, where we read here. Yeah, Leo the first drew many learned men about him and chose Prosper of Aquitaine in Act. Leo was a significant contributor to the centralization of spiritual authority within the church and reaffirming papal authority. He is the one that centralized the papal authority in Rome. He was the first one to centralize it there at the Vatican. He also, as we can hear here, he also declared that heretics deserved the most severe punishments. The Pope justified the death penalty, declaring that if the followers of heresy were allowed to live, that would be the end of human and divine law. So very interesting. He just not just centralized power in Rome, but he justified death penalty to heretics. And we know we've been to the 1500s. We know that the Catholic Church had so much power back in the Middle East, Middle Ages, that they were able to justify killing anybody based on claiming that they were heretics. So very interesting this situation. Also, he advocated for papal authority. So he centralized the power in Rome. He enforced or advocated for this authority of the Bishop of Rome or the Pope of Rome, and he justified that penalty. Isn't this what we're about to see in the tribulation? We're going to see that they will centralize religion into one. So they will merge all religions into one to worship the Antichrist. He will advocate for this authority, and he will justify death penalty to all of those who do not follow the Antichrist. So it's perfect situation that this legacy is being taken. And I have also here an information that is very interesting. Let me try to find here. Because his name was not supposed to be Leo or Leon the first, the 14th. His name was supposed to be John. Just like John the Baptist, we were expecting a pope that's called John, to come further because we know that whoever came perfectly on the 10th of Nisan here on the Passover time frame would be to the Antichrist, just like John the Baptist were to Jesus. So a form of John the Baptist would have come at this moment in time perfectly, and his name was to be John. So take a look here, this news that we found about it. So let me try to translate for you here in English. Pope Leon XIV goes against Pope Francis in his first gesture, says Il's scampering. He is no longer sectatory. Why he went against the last Pope, Pope Francis? The election of Albert Francis Prevost, the new leader of the Catholic Church, has already begun to provoke reflections and tensions during the live coverage of Journal Today. The correspondent in Rome highlighted a symbolic gesture that points to delicate rupture. The new pope ignored an expressed wish of his predecessor, Pope Francis, when he chose his name. One of Pope Francis' wishes has not been fulfilled because Pope Francis twice referred to his successor as John the 24th. So John the 24th was to be the name of the Pope that followed Pope Francis. And the man, Robert Prevost, chose Leo XIV. That's very interesting, guys, because we were expecting exactly a figure of John the Baptist to imitate for the Antichrist what John the Baptist did to Christ. And I purposefully chose this image, okay, to symbolize the false Messiah, right? So, because he speaks like a lamb, but truly he is a beast, he's a dragon. But he speaks like a lamb, like a peace talk, like a loving talk, right? He speaks like a lamb to deceive many. And John the Baptist began his ministry around Passover to prepare the way for the Messiah. So we can expect he's preparing the way for the Antichrist, and he will centralize the power just like Leo did. He will justify death penalty to all what they call heretics who does not worship the beast. And he will advocate for this authority. He's going to be the false prophet, and it is perfect, chosen on the 10th of Nisan, just like we were expecting. So we have the three kings here, right? In in power right now. We have the economical king, the political king, the economical king, we have the technological king, and we have the religious king. We have all three working together to bring this new world order, the order of the beast. They're all working together in spite of not knowing this or not understanding this. They are bringing forth this coming kingdom of the beast. And the moment that they were chosen, what they are doing in this world through peace and through speaking like a lamb and through the technology that's supposed to help the world, all of this information, everything that is happening is leading us to one and only alternative scenario, that is the end times Bible government of the beast. That's why we see this and we get hyped up because we know our departure is very near. We won't be here to see this forming completely. We won't be here to see the 7 years deal be signed because we will be out of this world through the rapture of the church. We can expect this to be happening very soon because of all of this that is perfectly falling into place right before our eyes. And our expectation is to be at any moment now, but it is the best for us to watch what God told us to watch in the Bible, his feast days, his moments that he chose every month, every moon cycle to be the dates that he chose to be important for the world and for the church. That's why we look at Passover, we look at the resurrection day. That's why we look at those dates that are very important. And I have placed here, and I have been following this timeline here for you to see what we were hoping before, and I will adjust this to right now. So we were expecting the rapture to happen within the 10th of Nisan and the true Passover, and we've gone through this already. And we've gone through also Christ's resurrection, and we're approaching the end of the Feast of Unleavened Breads, which I posted on my channel community here about the Passover, for you to celebrate um, the last feast, right? The memorial feast of Christ with bread without leaven and wine. And we are approaching the end of the feast of unleavened breads. Now let's put it what we saw, because we saw that the Pope was chosen exactly here at this moment. We went through this moment in time, and now we already went through Christ's resurrection date, right? At 17, the 15th of May, which is the 17th of the first month, the month of Nisan. Now we're approaching the end of unleavened breads. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shift. Actually, I'm going to show the second Passover time frame after the unleavened breads moment. This will be the second scenario for us to watch on June the 6th, June the 10th, actually, June the 10th, which will be coinciding with the Jewish Shavuot, the feast of wheat, the first fruits of the wheat is the Jewish Shavuot, the full moon of the third month. If you watch Dr. Barry's video, I believe you do, if you watch my channel, probably, you saw him also talking about this possibility here of the Jewish Shavuot scenario. For him, he still thinks that it's true Shavuot, but truly it is just the Jewish Shavuot, but will be the second Passover exactly on the same date because it's on the full moon, so it's going to be a nice scenario for us all as well. But now let's shift this and place all the scenarios that we have until the moment that we know that the 7 years must begin in this year 2025. So let's shift a little bit, place the beginning of this time frame right here at the end of unleavened breads that we are quickly approaching. Now we can see here more space for us to place all of the dates to be watchful for. So what we have here is end of unleavened breads, the 20th of May, which will be the last feast of spring. Then we have second Passover, which will be Jewish Shavuot, very important, the full moon of June, very interesting moment in time. On the 22nd of September, we will have this solar eclipse in the constellation of the Virgo, so it will be the day before Elul, similar to what happened in many other solar eclipses in recent years that we've watched. Very interesting as well. But now let's place all of the other information here. Now we have true Shavuot will be on 7/11. I know a lot of people like this date, 7/11. They have been receiving this date on their dreams. 7/11 falls perfectly on true Feast of Shavuot. True feast that God came into the mountain in trumpet sound and the earth shook right when he arrived at the top of Mount Sinai. So a high possibility for us as well for it to be the rapture of the church because we see some typology there as well. So all of these dates that we're watching here, it's dates that God chose in their Bible. We're just translating the dates to Gregorian calendar that we constantly live on and we are based on, and we are bringing these dates, the correct dates based on the position of the sun, moon, and stars to us, because those are appointments that God did make with mankind, for us to watch and be watchful, because those are important dates for God. So it should be important for us as well, especially if the typology shows us a rapture scenario. So we have a rapture scenario here in second Passover or Jewish Shavuot. We have definitely a rapture scenario here on True Shavuot, which will be nothing for the Jews, will be the fourth month for them, and for Isdor, so it's interesting. The fourth month is the only month that we don't have any feasts, so it could be a new feast there. We always thought that way if the rapture happens on the fourth month for the Jews and for Isdor, so it is interesting. After that, we have the Jewish wine Pentecost, so the feast of new wine that Christians all over the world does not know, that many those that do know a little bit deny it because they don't know much, but few of those that received this blessed information from Dr. Barriol and some others understand perfectly according to typology in the Bible, according to the story of Moses and Noah, the feast of new wine 50 days after True Shavuot, or the 8th of Av, one day before the 9th of Av for the Jews, that feast that is hidden for the Jews and hidden for many Christians that does not research thoroughly, that truly is the feast of Pentecost, the feast that the church started. So it's the most important feast for the church and for the Jews that will take place on August the 2nd, the 8th of Av there, right before the 9th of Av for the Jews, a very important sad day for the Jews. Dr. Barrial expects rapture in this scenario here, but I will watch this date, of course, always, but I believe it happens 1 month later, because 1 month later it will be true month of Av, month of Leon, the lion, month of the lion in the skies. We'll see the sun approaching and entering lion. When we see lion, the sliver of the new moon, and the sun is pointing lion, then that's the month of lion. So that's the fifth month, the month of Av. The the Jews, and unfortunately Dr. Barrial, don't see this, so they call the lion month when the sun is still on Cancer, I believe. Let me just check here. Yeah, when the sun will be here on Cancer and the new moon sighted, they will call this the fifth month, the Jews and Dr. Barrial. I call it when the sun reaches with the moon here the fifth month. We see the sliver of the new month is the first day of the fifth month, the month of Lion. That's the month of Av. That matches the Pope's name, and that's interesting because for me, that could be the moment of the rapture, because that will be the true wine Pentecost, the Feast of New Wine, the true beginning of the church, and that's September the 1st. The 1st of September 2025, that where it falls, the month of Av, the month of Pentecost. Soon after that, I believe on the third thing, if I'm not mistaken, on the third thing of on the third thing, this is not it. General Assembly UN 79. The 79 Assembly of the UN will take place, I believe, on the third thing. Agenda. Yeah, on the 13th of September, that's when the UN Agenda Assembly begins. So it will begin 12 days after the True Wine Pentecost, which is interesting as well. So it is within the month of September. On the 22nd of September, we will see the last solar eclipse of the year taking place in the month of on the constellation of Virgo. It is the day before Elul, so the day before the month of Virgo, the month of Elul, which will begin, of course, on the side of the new moon, or the sliver of the new moon here, when it's sighted, and the sun will be here on the Virgo, the Virgin, which is Elul. But for the Jews, the solar eclipse will take place before their Feast of Trumpets, before they change their calendar year to 5786 for them. So they will change the calendar year a day before after the solar eclipse. So for them will be Feast of Trumpets. For us will be just like it were in the Revelation 12 sign, the beginning of the month of the Virgo, the month of Elul. And lastly, I have here the true Feast of Trumpets on the 23rd of October. That will be precisely when the 7 years tribulation should start and must start if we have this ultimate timeline complete. So that's something that we can be very, how do I put into words? That's something that we can expect very certain about it, because we are based on a true calendar with historical evidences, with biblical evidences, and with astronomical evidence for the crucifixion to be on the year 32, the second coming on 2032, and 7 years prior to 2022 brings us to 2025, which the rapture of the church must take place, and after that, the 7 years of Daniel's 70 week must begin. So we can be very certain about this because we are solid on historical, astronomical, and biblical data. And this takes us to this year. And if all of this is complete, and I believe it is complete, it is correct, we cannot pass this without many major errors in calendars, in history, and so forth. So this has got to be correct. It is the last possibility for it to be correct. It has got to be correct right now because it is the last, right? So we're seeing the last possibility of everything aligning. Otherwise, many things will be wrong. So we can be certain about this. The year 32 of being the crucifixion, 2032 the second coming, and the rapture being 7 years prior, 2025. We can be very certain about this. That's why we can be certain that the true Feast of Trumpets, or by the true Feast of Trumpets, the 7 years sign must be signed. So if we place this here as a certainty, which I believe it is so, counting backwards, we see how many days we have of all of those feasts to that moment in time. Then we have what? The solar eclipse before Elul, or the 22nd of September before the 23rd of September, which will be Jewish trumpets, just like it were in 2017 with the Revelation 12 sign for the Jews. Exactly replay of that, 23rd of September, Feast of Trumpets for them. 8 years after the Revelation 12 sign, it is 30 days before the true Feast of Trumpets. Interesting possibility here, but things never happens right when a solar sign or a lunar sign is happening. Before that, we have the true wine Pentecost. It is perfectly 50 days or a Pentecost before the true Feast of Trumpets, which is why it is very interesting. So the true wine Pentecost on the 1st of September, before human meeting, before the solar eclipse, that's very interesting and gives us plenty of time for chaos to struggle to strike the world and for them to establish this covenant with many, or to reaffirm a covenant with many that they signed last year. They signed a pact for the future. They should reaffirm this and confirm this for more 7 years. The Antichrist being the head of it, the Pope blessing the Antichrist and calling him the Messiah, and everything to fit perfectly. So my best case scenario and the last case scenario for me is true wine Pentecost on the 1st of September. For me, that would be the best scenario for this year if we reach there. We might not even reach that point in time because the rapture could take place 80 years before the Feast of 80 days before the Feast of Trumpets, falling on the Jewish wine Pentecost on the 2nd of August, which will be for us the fourth month, the month of the door, a hidden feast could be. So when the Jews celebrate, or they won't celebrate, but when we know that one day before the ninth of a terrible day for the Jews could be a great day for the church, falling on the fourth month for us, but for them should have been the wine Pentecost, the beginning of the church, taking place here on the 2nd of August. But we could not reach that point. We could be going earlier on true Shavuot on the 7-11 date, 11th of July. The 11th of July, 105 days before the Feast of Trumpets. 105 is very interesting if you watched Dr. Barry's all video, last video. 105 is very interesting because it connects to 2,765 days. It connects to Daniel's counting of the end times. So very interesting. Like we could be living here as the first fruits of Shavuot on 7/11, 2025. Or we could be living here on second Passover, 135 days before the Feast of Trumpets on June the 10th. The Jews will call this Shavuot. Actually, they are 1 week wrong because they count weekdays, they don't count moon days. Therefore, many Christians will be off by a week on the Shavuot, the Jewish Shavuot. So they will call this, I believe, the third or the 2nd of June, Shavuot. Truly will be the full moon, the 10th of June. And for us will be the second Passover, a possibility for us as well, because if it didn't come on the first Passover, it is possible that he comes on the second Passover for the Jews. Very interesting as well. And for the Jews, it will be around the time of Shavuot, so it will be something for us to expect. But I highly doubt that we go here by the end of this unleavened breads, because Passover or the 10th of Nisan was much stronger than the end of the Feast of Unleavened Breads. So it is very unlikely, although I believe there is a gathering happening here. But it is very less likely for us to leave on the 20th of May. It is more likely that we go and reach either second Passover or true Shavuot or the Jewish wine Pentecost or the true wine Pentecost. Those are the highest possibilities coming first. The true wine Pentecost, then the Jewish wine Pentecost, then true Shavuot, and then second Passover, and so forth. So for me, this will be the best day, best case scenario. For us, it still takes time, still gives time for them to prepare to reaffirm the 7 years deal, and takes the most time for us here on this earth, but it is the most grace that we could ever have in this scenario that we are watching for 2025. So that's a possibility, and that's on the self same date that the church started. So very high possibility, especially because people will be so disappointed with the Jewish wine Pentecost on August. They won't be ready to see the true wine Pentecost on September the 1st. They will already go toward trumpets here on September 22nd as a possibility, but I believe this is going to be much, much, much stronger. Now, we could be going in any of these dates, or we could not. We could pass this, we could be completely out of understanding calendars, history, and so forth. We don't know, we are not God. We don't receive words from him just like Moses did. No, we're just a brother studying to show ourselves approved. Studying because we love God. We are watching for his second coming, just like the wise men, the saw the star of Bethlehem and saw Jesus as a baby. We are seeing the signs of his coming and we are watching to be ready to meet him in the air. That's what we are doing. We are brothers and sisters watching for his return, and we know and feel in our spirit that it's coming very quickly. Therefore, we watch the dates, we watch the scenarios, we watch typologies, we learn, and we don't go back, we don't back down because we know it is approaching very fast. And when it comes, and it will surely come, everything will be perfect after that, and everything will be revealed after that. So, no worries about being here a little bit more. Keep on going feast by feast, typology by typology, because surely we will arrive there, because we are seeing the triple alliance taking us towards the beast kingdom. All right, so that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. That's why I wanted to lift your spirits up, because although we passed on Passover, we're still looking towards many other dates that we could be possibly living, especially now in this prophetic year of 2025, especially now that we see a perfect alignment here with this Pope, with his chosen of the name, was supposed to be called John, and many other things, the date that he was chosen, and so forth. So I hope that this has blessed you deeply. I hope that this has lifted your heart up, given you a little bit more of strength to endure a little bit more. We should be going within 6 months tops, but it's still difficult to be here, especially if you live on a country like mine that injustice prevails every time here. It is crazy, guys, very crazy. So we have to endure, and at the end, it will be worthwhile. Amen. So if you want to support this ministry, if you want to help me out here in this mess of a country, the links are in the description below. I really appreciate all the effort and all the love that you guys send me, because with that I can help many other brothers and sisters here in Brazil. And it is a very important thing that happens in my life, and God has blessed me through many of you, um, abundantly, because many things that I thought I was not be able to do, because of many of you guys, I were able to do, and I glorify God because of this. So bless God and bless many of you who donate, who help us out, who reach many others through us, and I pray that God multiply in your life even more so the more we reach the end time. Amen. Maranatha, I hope that you're blessed by this video, and I hope to see you either in the next feast, in the next video, or in the kingdom of our God and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen. I call him Yahusha HaMashiach, the Yah that saves, all right? And I taught this information on a video on my channel a long time ago already. Amen. Maranatha.